Make sure y'all like the video and comment if you want, but turn on the post notifications so you know the next time I drop.
Because I would never tell, I work with women. I would never tell a woman to walk through that in the same frame of mind I was in when I did it.
And when you say that, but what frame of mind was that? What do you mean by that in particular?
I was very, very hurt. I was very angry. And I remember like when I made like the decision, I was like hysterically crying on the phone with my attorney. That was not the person I should have been on the phone with when, like, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, I was hysterically crying. And I was not in any position to make that decision. I was extremely emotionally intoxicated. We can be intoxicated with our emotions. The truth about the matter is that if I had different people in my ear at that time, I would not have made that decision. No.
Wow.
I wouldn't. And that's the truth. I tried my very best at this point in my life to be what I didn't have in that moment. Because I think that I was, women were like, I'm an extremely emotional person. People that know me know that about me. I'm the kind of person that like, okay, I feel so strong, and I can ruminate. I can get so lost in my thoughts. I know a lot of women are like that. Like we're a lot, not all of us, right? But some of us are, just like a lot of men can be like that. But I know women specifically, there will be moments where they'll be like, I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done. I can't stand this. He don't do this. He don't do that. Blah, blah.
She's speaking the truth. Most women operate out of emotion. That's how they navigate life. And so how you feel about a situation is typically temporary. And so if that's how you navigate life is based off of how you feel, then you're always going to be making reactive choices that are not always the best. A proactive thought process is always going to give you your best options.
A man cares what a woman says. A man can say something and a woman can say something, but it hurt 10 times more when that woman says. A woman can tell you something and break you down. A woman can tell you something that put chills on.
That's true. Especially the right woman, especially your woman. Not just any woman, but the right one.
The issue is a man who can't lead will always be frustrated by a strong woman. A man who can't lead will always be aggravated by someone who doesn't just kowtow to him just because he is a man. Every single one of those situations, a man exposes himself as not a leader. Why is she not submitting to me? What is she submitting to? Let's start asking questions. Are you leading? Where are you leading? What are you leading? What is your mission statement for yourself? Not that you have to have one, but where do you see yourself going at? What is your mission statement as a husband? What is your job as a husband? Well, I'm supposed to be
the leader, the head.
No, so many want to be Christ, like Christ is to the church, but really what they want to be is God. And so what they want to do is develop hells when they really should be sacrificing themselves for their wives until she is healed. But the man does all the work. No, the man does all the work first. That's what leaders do. Leaders take the most arrows in the back. Leaders trailblaze. Leaders go first. And so if you want something out of your woman, you show her. You exemplify that. You let her follow you. When she doesn't follow, that's when you have a problem. And you say, well, if you want to go right, I'm going to go this way.
What he's basically trying to do is he's trying to make men qualify themselves for women, which is not your God-given purpose to qualify yourself from women. You are supposed to be in a position to have women qualify themselves for you because you're operating in a standard or a purpose, and she's to become a helpmate to that.
Women don't fall in love with guys. They fall in love with the idea of a guy.
Absolutely.
That's why do nice guys always finish last? It's because nice guys always make themselves too available. You're so available to the point where women basically know everything about you, so you leave no mystery. Give a woman some mystery to think about you.
Very true. I mean, it's tough to admit, and like women won't admit this, but they want to fix something always. If you just give too much of yourself or you're just too easy and too nice, they're like, well, I don't have to do anything. And now I'm bored. It's a little toxic, but it's just by nature how we are.
I said it before, I say it again. And this is across all demographics. The one thing you don't want is for your woman to get bored. She could be anything but bored. I'm telling you, just don't let her get bored. That's the only thing. I know it's crazy to say, but it's the nature. That's just how they are. They are wired that way. And that's something that you just have to accept. It's a game for real.
Men are naturally wired to be logical, and women are naturally wired to be emotional. So there is a difference of natures between the man and between the woman. And if there is no understanding amongst both parties of the difference of natures and the purpose of why the male and the female has different natures, then there is going to be a fight. There's going to be a battle. And that fight is simply called a lack of understanding. Now, a lack of understanding occurs when you cannot, it's not that you won't, but you cannot put yourself into the mind of another person. In other words, what do people say? Put yourself in another person's shoes. So what happens often in relationships is that we see that the man, because he's naturally wired to be logical, what comes out of the woman's mouth makes absolutely no sense, because all he hears is emotion.
I don't know if you heard the old saying, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. On Mars, they speak logic. On Venus, they speak emotion. Now, here's the perspective that I want you to have, right? We all live here on Earth. Now, I know this is an analogy, but think about it. We on Earth right now, right? And there are people on different continents that we don't speak the same language in. So imagine being on two different planets, right? That is experiencing the rotation of the sun as we travel through the universe on different points. Their days are different. Their years are different. Not only do they not speak the same language, they're just experiencing the universe totally different. Hence, a logical perspective and an emotional perspective. And then imagine them coming together and trying to communicate. You're going to have few people that can speak both languages on either side. That's one of the women from Venus that can speak Martian.
This is the part nobody told you about dating. That the higher your standards are, the more you will disqualify. And sometimes you got to be okay with that. Because I'm going to tell you this.
All the time.
If you are not okay with, sometimes you might be a little bit more single than you would like. Maybe the blessing takes a little bit longer to get there. Maybe you got to sleep at night in your bed just with your rose. A little bit longer than you would like. But let me tell you this. It's better to do that than to settle. Because when you settle, it leads to suffering. When you settle, you suffer. And let me tell you why. An empty bed is better than one filled with lies, cheating, and deceit. And I want you to understand this. So yes, when you raise your standards, some people might even look at you crazy. You know why? Because sister next to you don't have high expectations.
What he's described right here is a recipe for loneliness. And the only thing she's going to do is get used to that loneliness, because that's where she's headed anyway. The man that you want certain things. And so if you can't already attract that man, that means that there's work that you have to do within yourself. And he's constantly giving them the excuse to project outward. And God's blessing of a man is going to come eventually, but you just got to stay lonely. Now, what he is trying to, put in there is don't run your body count up. And I do approve that message.
Most women that say they want a good man, if you bring her one right now, she probably gonna fuck it up.
Do you think that women are single by choice?
Them saying they're single by choice is because they've been unsuccessful in finding one. We say that we want to be single because we can't find that one, because we're incapable in this season of managing ourselves in that. If you told a woman right now, I have the man, the one you want. If God himself said, right now, if you want this, I have the guy that you want. Everything laid out, everything you want. Because you know, all women say they got their different preferences. I got your preference right here, ready for a relationship. She's not gonna say, no thank you. Gonna stay single. They want a man. That verbiage of wanting a man on our level, that is our ignorant way of saying that I don't know how to balance this new embodied power I have as a successful woman with being a woman in the presence of a man.
They use this idea that I'm single by choice because they have selection of men that they don't want. And so just because they have the selection or the option of men that they don't want, they can't understand why they can't keep or retain the men that they do want. And so they classify it as single by choice so that they don't have to take accountability and do the work within themselves to actually get a man.
I could date even more freely now because I have it set up to where my son can talk to his father whenever he pleases. I've dated someone and he would be in the living room talking to his dad. That has nothing to do with what we're doing in this household. If I cook dinner and dinner's ready for my man, for his kids, for my son, tell your dad you'll call him later. His dad don't disrespect that. And if it comes down to your example, oh, what if you had a trip and da-da-da-da? Once again, I'm with a man that includes my son. My son is his son, just like his kids if he had any would be my children.
Let me ask you this. So you telling me y'all are co-parenting through a kid and you don't see nothing wrong with that? You guys communicate through the kid. Don't you think that's unfair to the kid to have to relay messages from mom and dad? You don't think that's going to affect the kid in the long run?
Healthy co-parenting shouldn't and this is, I just hate this for a lot of people. I came from a toxic co-parenting family. So like what I didn't like was that they couldn't communicate, right? They couldn't just simply just tell him about my events at school, or just tell her that you're trying to do this and like to not just put it all out there. Because if that's the only time you could get him, then let's set that up. We're organized to where I don't got to text you every day and say, hey, you getting him next weekend? We talking too much. We are not that no more. I don't owe you that no more. When I see you, it's like, hey, how you doing?
Okay. How you? Is it safe to say at some point of time, you're going to have to communicate with another man?
But that's what I said earlier. I said this. I said, it's as simple as you're picking him up Friday at what time so I can have his stuff ready. You could cordially talk to somebody about that.
This is the point you're missing.
What is the point?
A man gets her with no kids. He doesn't have to deal with that at all.
One thing that stuck out to me is that if she's communicating through the kid, in her mind, she thinks that she's solved this problem while doing the damage to a kid so that she can avoid the communication with the father.
Cannot stand when a woman is single and pregnant and she announces it online. There is no sign of the baby daddy. You're a grown-ass woman alone in your maternity pictures. You can't even show who the man is because most of the time the man is not even your goddamn man. And then here go everybody in the comments. Congratulations. Congratulations? For what? Why do we have these young girls and these women get pregnant in these terrible situations? And instead what we do is we celebrate with baby showers and gender reveals. And the reason why they make these baby showers such these huge deals is because there is no wedding. The baby shower has become the new substitute for a wedding. How are we going to get these girls to understand there's a consequence for their actions when we're throwing them a goddamn party? So many women are victims to their own stupidity.
That's crazy. They want to be celebrated. That's it. They have to be celebrated. They want a big celebration. Most women are getting married for the wedding.
If I don't know you, I owe you absolutely
but you
nothing.
Know what the difference is?
Let me speak. I owe you absolutely nothing as a man who doesn't know you, right?
Course.
So what happens is the simp culture within the Western world has become a norm.
Yeah.
So men will say, okay, cool. And this is why I speak to men. Men, I'm going to speak to you, right? Because if you are out here with a lot of money, you may have a lot of money. Stop giving pretty women stop giving pretty women attention, because what happens is you will lose your resources, you will lose your money, you will lose your time, and what will happen is they will take your time, effort, resources, all the things that you built up, and they'll be on to the next.
That's why it's important to stay on purpose and not go after the woman that you like, but go after the woman that likes you. You may go down in looks a little bit, and I'm not even gonna lie, but if you attract enough of them, you'll be able to pick the best one. And that's what you want. That's what you want to help build your empire. Because the one that looked the best, she probably come with a whole lot of good looking ass drama. Make sure y'all like the video. and comment if you want, but turn on the post notifications so you know the next time I drop.